Good afternoon and a very happy new year to you. Welcome to 2025. The O's are looking to continue their fine form into the new year, and it starts today against Bristol Rovers as we're at the Memorial Stadium. And I'm delighted to be joined in the studio here by journalist Andrew Butler and Orient goalkeeper Sam Howes. Sam, happy new year. Thanks for joining us. It must be, I know you're in the injury room yourself at the moment, but it still must be quite a positive place to be at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously the results you can see over the last 6-7 weeks have obviously changed, and like I said, the dressing room is buzzing at the moment. So fingers crossed and keep it going today.
And today's a good opportunity to keep it going. Bristol Rovers not in the best of form. We're flying, as Sam's touched on. We played them the other week and took them apart. Hopefully, we carry on.
Yeah, obviously every game's going to be different, but that game against them only a few weeks ago was one of our best performances, and they really didn't offer anything. I think their first shot came in the 85th, 86th minute of the game. So if we can keep that kind of level of intensity that we showed that evening here at Brisbane Road today, then we'll be good as gold. But every game is different. They might be thinking we've got a new manager and now, and that might be kind of a cause for them wanting to kick on.
Well, hopefully the O's do continue their fine run of form, and the man who is in charge of that, we're going to hear from him for the first time this year. Richie Wellens, over to you.
Gaffer, Bristol Rovers to come on New Year's Day, but first off, if we reflect on 2024 as a whole, started with a win against Cambridge, ended with a win against Cambridge, so how would you assess everything in between?
Well, listen, like a lot of clubs, have been ups and downs, but I think on a whole to finish 11th last year, could have potentially finished higher. And then after a really difficult start, I think the squad's starting to show its true colours now and have been on a terrific run. So I think that when you're competing with some of the clubs in this league, to finish 11th and try and beat that, to get in around the playoffs would be a massive achievement. And that's the aim. It was always been the aim. Even though we had a difficult start, you just try and suppress some expectations, and I always knew, I said it from the very start, that this squad will get better, and some of the players now are really in good form. So I think on the whole it's been a really good year.
Time to take a look at today's lineup then for the O's, and the game's been coming thick and fast, so as expected there's been a handful of changes. Let's run through them now, but keeping his place in goal is number 24, it's our Josh Keeley. Across the back line, Jack Curry's at left back, with Ethan Galbraith on the opposite side of the defence at right back. Dan Happy and Omar Beckles partner up in the heart of the defence, with the captain Dan Pratley returning to the side alongside Jordan Brown. Ahead of them is Sonny Perkins, Jamie Donnelly and Dan Agyei, and Darlang Jayasimi leads the line, or Dan Agyei leads the line, or Sonny Perkins leads the lines. Who knows? We'll discuss that shortly. But on the bench is Noah Phillips, Jack Simpson, Sean Clare, Jaden Sweeney, Don Ball, Ollie O'Neill and Charlie Kelman. So I mean, the games have been relentless of late, and I guess when you're winning, it's easy to bounce from one to the next. But these changes probably just a case of freshening up as we go on.
Yeah, 100%. I think you touched on it there. Obviously, the amount of games they obviously had over a period of time, but I think the main thing is that everyone's buying into it and obviously picking up the points as well. One thing that probably hasn't been touched upon is the amount of clean sheets as well, which again, like you've got a steady back four, including obviously goalkeeper, then obviously it allows the front boys to do the business up top as well, which has been happening.
And I guess it's easier as a player to slot in there, whether it's in the back line or in midfield, when a team's in as good a form as we are. I guess these changes don't phase you as much.
No, 100%. I think the thing is as well is that it gives the whole buy-in from the squad as well. So like you say, there are a couple of changes today, but I'm sure those lads who obviously come in will obviously do the business as well for us.
And we've got to talk about the defence and a club record now of number of clean sheets on the bounce. We haven't conceded since Josh scored that goal against Oldham, which is quite ludicrous, but it just feels like we're not going to concede again. We probably will, but it feels like we're not going to.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been amazing, and we said this the other day about kind of the way that the defensive unit's been, in that we look so comfortable at the back. I think against Cambridge there was that one moment right at the start of the game where Josh pulls off an excellent save. He kind of quite charitably after the game just said, "Oh, it kind of just hit me," but you know he was there at the right place and very alert to the danger. But it's just been a really, really positive stretch of games where we've looked really comfortable. And I said this the other day as well, that when we had games in League Two and the National League, when we went 1-0 up, you just thought, okay, yeah, we're gonna win this. And there's been periods at the club, and there's periods at every single club anywhere that if you get the first goal, you're never sure if you're going to kind of hang on to win the game. But Cambridge was one of those days where it's like, great, goal in the first half, goal in the second half, home and hose, we're going to keep a clean sheet as well. So it's been a huge effort, and yeah, credit to that back line, because it's an amazing that the catalyst was a goalkeeper scoring a goal, but that has led to this amazing run of form.
We've got to talk about Josh Kelly a little bit more in your goalkeeper union, Sam. Zach Hemming today obviously recalled by Middlesbrough following Sol Bryn's season-ending injury, but Josh has really made that spot his own, hasn't he?
No, 100%. I mean, like, it's obviously the record speaks for himself as well. I mean, as a goalkeeper, you pride yourself on clean sheets, and obviously that record is fantastic. But knowing Josh, I'm sure he'll be looking obviously for that next clean sheet. But again, you talk about the Oldham goal, it probably has changed the season as well. Like, was there going to be a point before that cross come in that it was going to change the season? It was going to completely start it all up again? Probably not, but he's a good lad, and obviously he deserves the success that he's having at the moment.
He just looks so confident as well. He was playing right wing at one point against Cambridge. I know you had a tweet that went kind of viral, Andrew. But yeah, his heat map, he had a stint out on the right side of attack.
Yeah, and you know what was so funny about that was obviously he came on the show after the game, and he was more annoyed about the fact that he underhit his pass as well, not the fact that he was out there on the right hand side. And this is a player, obviously, remember, who's trying to protect a 2-goal lead, and he finds himself 50 yards outside of his goal. But it kind of just showed how confident he's playing and willing to get involved. But yeah, it was just a very funny moment, and kind of that confidence. If you've got your confidence in your goalkeeper, that kind of breeds through the whole team. So it has been brilliant of late. It
really has breeded through the whole team, as Andrew says, and that defending, not only the back four, it happens from up top, and Richie's very vocal about that's how he wants his side to play, and we've been not just not conceding goals, we've barely been conceding chances. It's the whole team, the whole defensive unit of the 11 players is they've been on top form.
No, 100%. I think that's massive as well. Obviously, speaking from someone who plays obviously right at the very back, like, it is important that you've got everyone working on the same wavelength, and everyone is at the moment. Hence why the results have obviously picked up, and obviously not being conceding goals, and like you say, not conceding chances as well, which is massive as well, especially in this league.
I'm Dan Agyei and returning to the side alongside Omar Beckles. Obviously, Jack Simpson did a fine job against Cambridge, another clean sheet. But that partnership of Haps and Omar, it's a very good partnership.
Yeah, I meant to actually look, and maybe I'll get it for half time, see just how many games they've played together, because it's been a partnership that's been incredibly fruitful. There was a bit of a period towards the start of last season, actually, when you probably remember when they had a couple of moments where people were like, "Why? You know, we've got a couple of new centre backs. Why aren't we starting? You know, Brandon Cooper, Jack Simpson. They're both here at the club." And then we reverted back to the players that we already had, which is Omar Beckles and Dan Agyei. They've been fantastic for a couple of seasons now, and they look so comfortable. Obviously, they complement each other incredibly well, right foot, left foot. And having Dan there as well kind of just makes the game a bit more expansive. So he's the one more confident about making those long range passes, whereas Omar is just a real kind of soldier at the back. But then you look left and right of them. Jack Curry's been fantastic since he's come in here. The amount of energy that he provides, that back line going forward as well. I mean, talking about defending from the front. That game against Crawley on Boxing Day when he's bursting up the pitch on the left hand side, that's kind of almost what you want your defenders to be doing, because guess what? If our defenders are up there, that means their strikers and their midfielders are having to track him back as well, so we can play the game in their half. So he's been brilliant, and then Ethan Galbraith, I mean, goes without saying, but we obviously should mention him because he's been fantastic since going back there as well.
I was going to pick up on Ethan Galbraith, Sam, because we were saying, you know, he's a player of extreme quality. We're almost having to play him at right back due to Tom James' injury, but he's still feels like we've got an attacker playing in defence. He's that special a player.
I think that's the thing. I know obviously there's a lot of people who kind of pick up on the fact that he should be playing higher up the pitch, but like, you're not being funny. You can probably stick him anywhere on the pitch, and he'll find the ball, he'll find the pockets and all that as well. And it shows since the uplifting form, obviously how many times he obviously touches that ball and obviously creates chances from a position that probably not many people expect chances to be created from. But again, it's a good player, and obviously hopefully today he can showcase that as well.
And just a quick word on Darren Pratley coming back in. I mean, he's nearly 40 years old. He's played a lot of minutes recently. He looks like he's 21.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he keeps going, if I'm being honest. Like you said there, he's nearly 40 years old, and he's obviously making runs in behind defences as well. But as a leader, that's what you need, especially like through those times at the start of the season that we're probably not picking up those results, and even now, like, just to keep the momentum ticking and obviously keep climbing that league as well. So yeah, he's fantastic for the group.
And looking at that midfield battle then, Andrew, him and Jordan Browning, they're a tried and tested partnership. And when you look at where Bristol are in the table, the form they've been in, new manager, it's probably going to have a slightly scrappy edge to it. The conditions aren't fantastic. It's looking as though it'll probably lean that way, and we'll need to win those battles first.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I don't know if this is just purely what it's like going to the Memorial Ground as a fan. I don't like it at all. I don't. It's it just has that kind of a feel to it as a stadium that really exposed. Like the wind can be like all over the shop. All the stands are different sizes. I know that's just like me weird, like probably being quite weird as a fan, but. I don't know, Sam, if you've played there before, but it's just it just has that feel to it, which is just kind of anything can happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Especially like today, the weather's obviously not the best as well, so it's going to be a tough game. Don't get me wrong, but it's a winnable game for sure.
Well, hopefully we do win this winnable game, but we'll see. We'll come on to that shortly. We'll look at our attack very shortly as well. But first, just to remind you that if you're watching along live on our YouTube stream, then UK fans, you can listen along with an audio pass, or if you're watching from overseas, you can pick up a match pass for just £10 to watch with us here on Orient Live. Kickoff is just over 15 minutes away, so you haven't got long to pick up your match pass. Now, as we're heading to the end of this festive season, we've got one more festive, some community work in at Haven House, and some of the boys and girls went there earlier this week. Let's see how they get on.
We've come to Haven House Hospice today to see the children. It's been a really nice afternoon actually, to obviously see the other side that sometimes you don't see, and I think as part of our job it's fantastic to obviously get out here and, you know, help pick the kids up and be positive really and spread positivity. So yeah, it's been a really good afternoon, and hope to come back and visit the children again.
It's amazing the work they do here all year round. They're kind of like real life heroes looking after these children who sadly don't have it as easy as the rest of us. So yeah, coming here on an afternoon for an hour or so, it's a very humbling place, but it's also very heartwarming when you get to go and see them upstairs and kind of give out little gifts just to kind of get a little smile out of them, little interactions like that. It's been a special day.
The Haven House make sure that all the brothers and sisters that are involved in everything, as usually the brothers and sisters may feel that they get left out a bit, as the attention sort of goes to the kids who need it. So it's important for that the hospital are able to help the family and getting the brothers and sisters involved.
90% is to reach their full potential, and the 10% is for the end of life care, compared to like adult hospice. So it's more about like giving the children the ability to do what they can, and they also like people that come here have to adapt to their way of life, and so it's like their home and their community.
Yeah, it was lovely to see the interactions that everyone was having with the kids, and you know, they had Elsa in there performing for them at the same time, so yeah, it was really nice just to go in and see that and just be a small part of that, I guess.
So I came to Haven House last year, and it's just a really incredible place, and to see that they've made some changes as well, just the work that goes on behind it is just inspirational. I am a local girl. My aunt for many years has done sort of like charity events to help raise money towards here, so yeah, it's quite close to home for me.
I think to us as an organisation, to have support of a team like Leyton Orient, as a corporate it means so much to us. But more importantly for the children, to have access to the players and the teams and the club, to bring joy into their life and to have connection. I've seen some of the guys kind of doing videos for siblings and brothers, and having that is so important to families, especially around this time of year when it's joyful, to feel that connection with the outside world, to know that Leyton Orient is supporting them, that understands that they need the support and can hear children. That's really nice, and it's really lovely for the lads to meet and the girls to meet all the children here too, so it's really important.
Right then, before we get back to today's action, we just want to remind you that in just 72 hours we're back in action here at the Gotham Group Stadium, and tickets are on sale for that fixture against Shrewsbury Town. You can pick up your tickets over on the club website. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Make sure you get down to E10 for the first time in 2025 and see the boys in action and hopefully continue this fine run of form. But looking back to today's game then, Andrew, and goals of what win you games, and we are enjoying scoring them at the moment.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch as well. It's been excellent. It's what's been so nice is kind of seeing all the where they're coming from, the manner in which they're being scored. Obviously got perhaps a little bit of a scrappy one, but it was all made by Dan Agyei on the other day against Cambridge, where Ollie O'Neill gets it in. I think it's actually a much cleverer finish than we probably gave it credit for, because he manages to hook his foot around it and bounce it over the defender on the line. But yeah, it's been great to kind of have Dan and have Charlie and get Jamie Donnelly on the score sheet, and Ollie O'Neill's obviously picked up as well, because at the start of the season there wasn't a great deal going wrong. It was just the numbers weren't quite there in terms of goals and assists from our attacking line, and we were coming on here and discussing about the front line doesn't look as settled, and all those positions are probably up for grabs. But now it looks a little bit more settled. But there are of course a couple of changes this afternoon, which is exciting, but also I think a really interesting proposition. I think that for players like Sonny and for DJ, they've got a chance to kind of make their mark. They probably have sat there on the sidelines the last couple of games and thought, Ollie O'Neill, Jamie Donnelly, Dan Agyei, Charlie Coleman, that's looking pretty set. But now that they've got their opportunity, they kind of need to take that with both hands. And
looking at that lineup today then, Sam, obviously Jamie Donnelly will, you'd imagine, take that number 10 role. But then you've got three players who could lead the line. I'm guessing it could be interchangeable. How do you expect those three of Perkins, Joasimi and Agyei to shape up? I think you'd probably imagine obviously Sonny will obviously play off the right and then kind of cut in. Obviously same with DJ the other side, but Agyei up top. But one thing I think that's quite exciting is that they can all kind of like do that sort of role as well. So obviously having Jamie in the middle of it as well, looking to try and find those passes to link up play and everything as well. It is an exciting lineup. Like you said there's obviously been a few changes and stuff, but the amount of games that we've had, probably one person steps in, one person steps out, and you're still going to get the same sort of thing, if not a few more goals, who knows. The one player that is undroppable though is Dan Agyei. We've got some clips of his recent performances, some of his highlights, but if we played all of them, we'd be watching a pretty half-hour video. He's just been electric, and he causes defences so many problems, doesn't he? Yeah, no, he does. I think the thing is as well with Dan is that his pace and his power probably gets underestimated, in my opinion. You just see him from the clips here, he's taking people along, if he's sliding people through, or he's running through about 4 or 5 people. And also as well, he's a brilliant finisher as well. That's it, Andrew. You look at him, the guy, he's quick, he can beat his man, he's exciting, he's strong, but as we said on against Cambridge, he's got an end product as well. Yeah, and it was he was just brilliant against Cambridge. We talked a little bit about him at the end of the game on the other day, but he was just absolutely unplayable. It was surprising to me that Cambridge didn't double up on him, and but even if they did, and even when they did, he kind of just took them on instead. This is the goal that Ollie O'Neill scored, and it all came from Dan, and there he goes again. And Jamie, should have scored that one.
he was absolutely magnificent the other day against Cambridge. He was kind of, aside from not getting on the score sheet, it was pretty much as close to a perfect performance as I think I've seen in a long time.
Well, there's just 10 minutes to go until kick-off. I'm going to take a look at the home side very shortly. But first, let's hear from the man of the moment, the informer. It's Dan Agyei.
Whenever I walk on the pitch, you know, I'm feeling confident. I think the whole team are right now, and I think it's time to show off. Recently, I've been enjoying myself a lot, going into every game. I've been really enjoying it, and I think we're creating a lot of chances now, and it's just everything's looking quite fruitful. Anywhere along the front three, I'm happy to play. Me personally, I do enjoy the right and up front. It just depends on the kind of game it is, But I think I have different qualities to play in both positions. So wherever I'm called upon, I'm happy to play there. The ball came into me from Brownie, and the defender that was marking me was quite tight to me. So I thought I could turn him, and I was able to turn him. And when I got to the byline, there wasn't really anyone around me, so I put a ball in, and thankfully, I think there was a ricochet, and thankfully it came off Ollie, and Ollie scored. And it was a great moment for us, I think. For me, it doesn't matter whether I score or get an assist. They both mean much to me. Assists are really important nowadays in football, and I just want to continue to score goals and get as many assists as possible. Getting assists is a big part of football, and I take quite a lot of pride in trying to do so. Team spirit right now is really high. I think we've got a real togetherness as a team. Everyone's quite close together, and through the hard times we sit together, and through the good times we just need to try and continue it and keep the momentum going. I think having a strong team spirit on the pitch is big. When things are going tough in the game, because we've got a good team spirit, we can dig deep through situations and come out on the better side of it. So having a good team spirit is really key. I think I can still remember the first game of 2024, which was Cambridge. It felt like yesterday, and this year's gone quick, and I'm sure next year will be quick, and hopefully next year will be an even better year for all of us. From a personal point of view, it's been a good year. I think in end of January I got injured. That was unfortunate, but I managed to stay injury free from that time period, so I'm grateful for that. And I scored quite a few goals. I think maybe 15 this year. Hopefully next year I can score more. I've got about 5 or 6 assists, so hopefully I can get more than that. I think it'll be massive to start 2025 in a positive result. Everyone wants to go into the year with a win, and to do that would be big for us. So I think we're just focusing on that game now, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
More of the same again today, please, Dan. But now it's time to look at the home side, as Inigo Calderon names his side as he looks to change Bristol Rovers' form of late. But starting in goal for the Gas is number 1. It's Joshua Griffiths. Across the back line is Taylor Moore at right back with Lino Sousa at left back, and in the middle is their captain James Wilson alongside Connor Taylor. In midfield they have Isaac Hutchinson, Grant Ward, Gatlin O'Donker, Luke Thomas, and in their attack conditions is Promise Omachere and former Orient striker Ruel Satiru. And on the bench is Matthew Hall, Joel Senior, Clinton Mola, Luke McCormick, Shaq Ford, Scott Sinclair and Chris Martin. So a couple of changes for them as well. Ruel hasn't been starting many games recently. He's back in. They're probably looking for something from somewhere, because they've scored 2 goals since we played them. It's not looking good. No,
it's not looking good for them, and they have spent money. Their fans are expecting a lot more from them. They've obviously changed their manager. They've got Inigo Calderon, who's a name quite familiar to English football from higher up the pyramid as well. So I'm sure that they've got him in to kind of change their fortunes, because they probably weren't anticipating being 20th in League One coming up to about halfway through the season. But the fact of the matter is they haven't been good enough this season. They were really poor against Stevenage the other day when they lost 3-0. And so coming into this game, they'll be probably hoping that just something will change their fortunes. But if you look at the stats, they've got the lowest. If you want to look at XG, I know some people aren't massive fans of it, but it kind of is a good barometer to kind of show you where they're at, which is that they've got the lowest XG in terms of goals for, and highest XGs in terms of chances given up as well. So you don't want to be at the bottom of both of those tables, and so they kind of haven't been nearly as good as they wanted to be. I think their kind of highlight result though of late has been a 1-1 draw against Wrexham, which came over the Christmas period. I think they'll probably take some solace from that one, because that was a fairly hard fought draw against one of the better teams in the division.
Well, it was a good draw, but they really should be doing better. As Andrew said, they spent a lot of money. They've got at least £1 million sat on the bench. Kai Ford making up half of that. They've got quality. They've got 3 players in Shaq Ford, Scott Sinclair and Chris Martin on their bench alone. I mean, they've got quality around the pitch, and with a new manager, they could ask a lot of questions of us.
Yeah, 100%. I think you said it there. Like, new managers come in the building. Obviously, we're probably not sure what they're going to do, but they have got quality players like who are starting, and like you say, players on the bench. I mean, Scott Sinclair's experience is obviously going to be massive for them as well, especially in this difficult period. But I think from our perspective, it's a perfect time to play them as well. No one knows how they're going to set up, how they're going to play necessarily, but it's a perfect opportunity to go at them.
And knowing Ruel Sitirio as you do, who's probably knocking on Inigo's door, asking to play, begging to play. The evening didn't go how he'd have wanted in the home fixture, but today he's a character, Ruel. He'll be wanting to get in the score sheet against his former club, won't he?
Yeah, of course. Like any player who comes up against their old team, they're always going to want to try and score or have a decent game against your old club and all that as well. So the lads will know what to expect from Ruel, but I think all we've got to do is just focus on ourselves for this one.
Well, we will focus on ourselves, and it's time to focus on the game, because both sets players are now out on the pitch. So it's time to hand over to the dulcet tones of Dave Victor alongside Matt Hiscock.